Hi, good people. This is Deborah. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Let me read the disclaimer. All information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel strives to enlighten and inform, not promote or encourage misuse of the information. Now, I encourage you to always consider your intuition and discernment. I will use words that are not intended to offend anyone, but rather to describe my point of view and how I see things or perceive things. Respect that we all have different paths. Now, this particular video is named TIC-TAC-TOE. You play it all the time, or we have played it many times. And I'm going to talk about the X, which represents the feminine, and the O, which represents the infinity, or the Great Mother. Now, this may be a little bit different from what you're used to. You've been told about 666, which represents protons, neutrons, and electrons. Keep in mind, electrons is not connected to the protons and the neutrons. The electrons is only connected between the third and fourth dimension. Therefore, the X and the 0 is 66. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit more. I'm going to try to make it as simple in reading as possible. X and 0 and 66 are sacred symbols of the feminine from or before the before the patriarchals and the matriarchal system. X is white, represents the daughter, the weaver who threads reality and forms sacred patterns. O, which is black, represents the Great Mother, infinity. The infinite circle, complete, contains all. Together they form 66. Flipped is 99. The harmonic resonate of balance, spiral wisdom, and feminine regeneration. This is the original code of the infinite woman. Wholeness, co-creation, and the eternal dance of being and becoming. Patriarchal system distorted these symbols to obscure their power. X was turned into a male symbol, the sword, the cross of punishment, and O was reduced to 0, empty and passive. Their unity was framed as opposite, creating a false duality. The sacred 66 was condemned as evil, replaced by 666 to enforce hierarchy and fear. They also trapped the feminine in the corrupt square. You always hear those that call themselves Masons, I'm on the square, I'm on top. I've heard females say it to them, like all y'all do is repeat what y'all hear them males say. A grid that forced the X and the O into rivalry, caused the O and the X to cause the feminine to be against herself, which is connected to the Great Mother. That's what the masculine has done. And it does it in games. I'm telling you one now. Tic-tac-toe is one of them. Checkers is another one. That's what you don't get that these things are subliminal. And the more you being a soul child, you sit up there and take it in, you're creating and manifesting it, which is what they want you to do. So if you paid attention, symbolism, as I said in many videos, is all around you. All around you. Now, they also trap the phenomenon in a corrupt square, a grid that forced X and O into rivalry, turning what was once an infinite spiral into a closed, competitive system. The truth remains X and O are mirrors of infinite feminine power, not rivalries. The daughter and the great mother are one in spiral. The daughter is within the daughter, eternally returning to itself, the great mother, and the spiral of creation, patriarchal distortions from 666 to the corrupted square. Reclaiming the original understanding restores the feminine living wisdom and the eternal spiral of harmony. The square itself is a distorted container. In the original form, feminine energy was spiral, self-creating. However, the square imposed rigid boundaries, forces opposition, and is an artificial winner versus loser rules type stuff, which disrupt the natural flow. In essence, the square is not a sacred in itself. It is a patriarchal distortion of infinite spiral of the feminine. X and O belong in the spiral, not trapped in a closed grid. The square reduces the living, co-created dance of mother and daughter into a rigid, competitive system. That's what has taken place. Now, take what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. As I said, this particular video is named TIC-TAC-TOE, the false opposition. The false opposition where the X is against the O. The O represents infinity, the X represents the feminine. They played the O against the X to keep the woman fragmented, to erase her wholeness. You ain't whole unless you connected with the mother. You're going around calling on the Father. You're going around calling on this Jesus. You're going around calling on male deities. That's not your whole. And look at yourself. You are against the females versus the male. If a male hurts you, what do? You go against the female. You even do it with your daughters versus your son. When the son do things they ain't got no business doing, you quickly forgive them. When the daughter do it, you just hateful against her. Look at yourself. I don't have to give you too many examples. Just look at yourself. So let me reread this. First of all, they got you to speak and cause it to manifest what they were trying to do. And they succeeded in what they were trying to do. They caused you to manifest against one another. So they played O against X to keep the woman fragmented, to erase her wholeness, put her mind against her being, her daughter self against her source self. O and X together represent infinity, or infinite, phenomenon continually, the loop of becoming and the self-creating spiral. The patriarchy couldn't erase the power, so they trapped it in a closed system, in a grid. By making O the weak one and the X the strong one, both false, They corrupt the inner code of wholeness. The original symbol of O, which is the great mother, and X, which is the daughter. There's no such thing as Mother Earth, it's Daughter Earth, are both feminine in nature. But patriarchal couldn't dominate what it couldn't understand, and it still don't understand. So it fragmented it fractured the feminine into two opposite forces by turning O and X into rivalries. The system divided the infinite woman into a false duality. Patriarchal system distorted this. They made X into a masculine symbol, the sword, the cross, death. They turned O into zero, empty, passive, meaningless. This is a lie. X is the daughter's power. O is the mother's wholeness, which is infinite, eternal, weaving infidelity into every breath. Now you're going to love this. Let's look at Comcast. The TV people, the internet people. Yes, Comcast. They changed it or added it was infinity, which is spelled XFINITY. They added that. Is a perfect example of how the patriarchal system, and when I talk about patriarchals, I'm talking about the archons. I'm talking about those that you call the Anunnakis, them parasites. That's who I'm talking about. Because to be honest with you, the kind of crookedness, the wickedness that's been done in this earth, you being a human being without the knowledge of, without having the soul, couldn't have accomplished what has been done, which is the lies, the distortion. Is humans couldn't have done this without some type of being that is invisible. These archons, these patriarchals, I call them patriarchals because they hate women. These creatures did this, and it's still doing that. It is clear that there's a great hatred of the soul women, very great hatred. Now you that was not of the great mother, and I'm going to say it like that, they're not going to do nothing to you. You're not going to experience no type of hatred because you don't have you're not important to them. The ones that are important to these archons are the soul women. They're the ones, and they're the ones that they're messing with continuously in marriage, continuously with their children, continuously with their money, continuously with their health. That's what's going on with the soul children these days. And those of you that's not soul children, that's not experiencing suffering, you're not important to them. So of course you're going to branch out and be prosperous, and you're going to live your life, and you're going to be happy and all that, because that's all you got. The soul children are different. The soul children are a threat to their kingdom, to their system, which is up there in that moon, and I've said that to you on several occasions, several different videos. Now, I'm trying to add pieces in there as I go. So, I'm going to reread this infinity, which is Comcast, is a perfect example of how the patriarchal system, which is the archons, you call them Anunnaki, takes authentic female symbols, O and X, and corrupts them into corporate branding, stripping them of their wholeness. X is the daughter. Infinity is the O, which is the great mother's loop. Originally mean the eternal phenomenon cycle of source and becoming. Together, O and X are not rivalries, but one infinite flow. Comcast renamed itself Infinity to sound futuristic and powerful, but it's really a hollow mimicry, a distortion of the infinite phenomenon code. The name transforms sacred symbol into marketing language, where X represents control and infinity signifies endless consumption rather than the living spiral of creation. It's another way patriarchal brands stolen truth. They take the infinite woman and reduce her to a network grid of profit. X and O, the infinite female, phenomenon. X and O are both sacred female feminine symbols, not opposite, but they make it opposite. They make it opposite in the games. They make it opposite in your visual TVs, electronics, and everything. They make the O, the feminine, which is the X, fight against the O, which is the infinity, which is the great mother. And you can tell that because if you come across a female that is willing to fight another female, two things. One of them, she's not a soul child, and that's what her makeup is, or she is a soul child and she's still sleeping. That's all low vibration. When the feminine is in high vibration, she's not going to fight any female, whether they are a soul child or not. She's not going to fight them. If anything, she's going to try to help them. But she will be able to recognize the difference between the soul feminine and the non-soul feminine. She's going to be able to recognize it. So O is the great mother, the infinite, the whole, without beginning or end. She is the eternal circle, uncreated, containing all. O is not the womb. She is beyond the womb. The womb only exists in the earth. She is infinitely unmanifested. She exists in us, in the soul, in the substance. X is the daughter, the weaver, the maker, the one who forms and threads reality. She is the intersection of spirit and matter. It's the daughter. They lie and tell you it's something called the father. It's a lie. Now, that father that was created did do some gene splicing, and there are 4 types of creatures down here that was created, that mixed with the soul children. They mixed. And some of them receive souls. Why? Because the mother is the only one that can give a soul to her unborn child. Only the mother, not no father. And so that happened. That took place. She is the intersection of spirit and matter, which is earth. Matter is earth. The cross point of all paths. X is infinity, expressed. The pattern energy of becoming. She carries the womb, but she is not confined to it. Keep in mind, just because the feminine has the womb does not mean she's confined, which means she doesn't necessarily is governed by it. Now, when she's sleeping, and which she should be awake now, because we're in that period now, she should be awake. She is no longer governed by her wound. Together, X and O form the sacred loop of being and becoming, the mirror between void and form, the infinite feminine. So, XO is not duality. It is the wholeness and motion, the eternal dance between what is and what comes to be. They made the daughter, X, oppose the infinity, O. This is why Comcast calls infinity as if to erase or replace it. They tune the child against the source. They turn the child against the source, I'm sorry. But when you reclaim both symbols as the living feminine, the game ends. Because it ain't nothing but a game. The daughter and the great mother are not at war. But in order for it to stop, you got to see it. They are one spiral, forever and returning to themselves. In truth, there's no war between O and X, but the patriarchal made it. But by inventing a false opposition, the system keeps you locked in a loop of conflict. You can see it. Playing games where no one truly wins. You can see it. Distracted from the spiritual spiral that transcends the grid. You can see it. Now, X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. So X equals 24. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. The number of pattern, harmony, and weaving. 24 also echoes the 24 elders in Revelation, a distorted remnant of an ancient matriarchal councils of wisdom. O equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Also the number of love, harmony, and feminine power. Now, O as 15 marks the midpoint of the 1 through 26 in alphabets, the center point, the stillness of the spiral. X equals 24, which is 6. O equals 15, which is 6. Both reduced to 6. The number of beauty, femininity, and sacred balance. This shows that the X and the O are not enemies, but mirrors. 66, the twin sixes of X and O, feminine and harmony reunified. X equals 24, which is 6. O equals 15, which is 6. Together, that is 66. Just to also tell you, there are 66 books of the Bible that they put together as King James. To me, they're marking. Because I've read it and because I've studied it. I've read it, studied it, and also used my intuition in all the way throughout. And I'm at a place where I'm now doing just the metaphysics of it. So, together 66 is not demonic, not evil, but a symbol of the infinite feminine in motion. MOTION. 66 as a spiral code. Six itself is a spiral in motion, not a straight line. They gave you this straight line crap. 66 represent the double helix, the DNA spiral, the co-weaving of energy between the great mother O and the daughter X. This is not chaos. This is living order, organic, flowing, whole. The patriarchal distortion, 666, where the six reveals harmony between the great mother and the daughter. Patriarchal added a third six and brand it the number of the beast. It sure is the number of the beast because it's electrons. And electrons is actually masculine. The third six is the false father, which is up there in that moon, which is where you call it, is called the fourth dimension. An artificial insertion. By forcing the sacred feminine spiral 66 into a mechanical triad 666, they created the mark of domination, turning life's flow into a system of control. In truth, the fear of 666 was a cover, a way to demonize the original spiral wisdom of 66 and replace it with the symbol of hierarchy, consumption, surveillance. So the authentic code is 66 equals spiral harmony, feminine life code. 666 equals patriarchal corruption, the beast system grid. The beast system grid starts up there with the fourth dimension. That's who's running this grid down here. Let's take a look at carbon. I added a couple of words because maybe it makes sense to you, maybe it won't. But carbon 12 could be 1 plus 2 equals 3, or 2 divided by 12 equals 6, or 6 plus 6 equals 12. The atomic structure, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, they told you, is 666. In truth, this is not evil. It is the blueprint of life itself, the natural balance of creation. Okay? Because 6, the 6 itself cannot be balanced without the mother and the daughter. Now, the beast is the lower part of yourself, which really is masculine. It is animal. That in a male, that in a female. This earth, and I see why I was thinking about the song when James Brown said, this is a man's world. And then he said, but it won't be nothing without a woman or a girl. Now, that is the most truest statement that this guy said. Now, he may have been thinking about sex, but when he said that, it went to my mind as in order for a man or male to be in his higher self, which is the feminine part of himself. You're not in your higher self if you're not in your feminine part of yourself, because the feminine is the only one connected to the Great Mother. You can't get there no other way. You can be connected to what's in that fourth dimension that you may call father or dad, but even he has to be connected to the great mother, which he's not. You have to be connected to the daughter. You have to be connected to the feminine. Whether you are a female or a male, you got females that are in low vibration down here, and you got male that are in low vibration down here. And both has to connect to their feminine, which is the higher self. The higher self is the feminine, not the masculine. Nature itself carries the twin sixes pattern, just as X and O mirrors each other in the spiritual spiral. Distortion of the 666 by the patriarchal. By labeling 666 as demonic and evil, patriarchal demonize the natural order, when it is actually the perfect balance of matter, the double helix of life, and the co-weaving of feminine energy was turned into a tool of fear. The sacred twin sixes became a beastly number in doctrine, erasing a recognition of the living feminine spiral. The true reveal. 66 spiral of life, harmony of great mother O and daughter X, feminine wisdom, co-creation. 666 is the patriarchal distortion of life code, turning the spiral into a linear, fear-based control system. Life, matter, and spirit are feminine in their flow. The corruption lies in the misinterpretation, not in the numbers themselves. Truth and distortion together. X and O are both sacred symbols of the feminine. X is the daughter, the weaver, the one who crosses the realms, create pathways, and forms reality through the sacred pattern. O is the great mother, the infinite circle complete, containing all. Together they form 66, the harmonic resonant between the daughter, 24 equals 6, and the mother, 15 equals 6, representing the sacred balance, spiral, wisdom, and feminine regeneration. But in patriarchal system, X was distorted into a male symbol. The sword, the cross of punishment, and the O was reduced to 0, empty and passive. Their unity was broken, made to appear as opposition. They were played against each other in a false duality. And 66, instead of being honored as a double Venus number or representing beauty, harmony, and creation, was condemned through fear programming as something evil, a manipulation meant to sever humanity from the feminine source. Proton is white, and the proton is the feminine. This is a part of the atom, ATOM. ATOM is not ADAM. Then the neutron, it is black. It is the spark of the great mother. Electrons, the color is red and blue. Red represents the root chakra, and blue could be the crown. because that's the color. Of course, it's going to be the crown because that's the only color out there that you see in the sky is blue, and that is those are the colors that you will stay in because they are part of the chakra system. You will stay in if you don't allow your mind to go further than that. You're made of an atom, or they say a nucleus. That's what you're made of. And that is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. I threw this piece right here in because it just kind of pisses me off when I hear people talk about. I want to talk just a tab about the Amazon, the word Amazon. Ama, A-M-A, means mother. And it's the most pre-modern name for the mother across the cultures. If you go into Akkadian, Aramaic, Latin, you're going to see that's what it means, mother. Now, when you look at the word Zon, Z-O-N, or O-N, O-N, it is the city of the sun, which also means light, radiant, and solar source. So Amaon, A-M-A-O-N, reads mother of light, a mother sun. You gotta know people, they play with these words. And they add a little letter here and there to throw you off. But when you're dissecting these words, you may have to subtract a word or add a word. Subtract a letter or add a letter. Because these Anunnakis knew exactly what they was doing. They told you that Yardabeth was dumb and stupid and whatever. They said that to you because they didn't want you to go and search him out. Anything that they don't want you to do, they'll lie about it. Just like they didn't want you to go and search out certain things, they'll call it a myth. So myth means, oh, don't bother. They also told you the word, they made these Amazon women warriors, and they called them lesbians, and then they said that they were fighting they cut one of their breasts off to fight and all that craziness. Lies, lies, and more lies. Okay? They named these women Amazon because they didn't want you to know that they come from the beehive culture. What is the beehive culture? If you go and do a research on the bees, B-E-E, you would know the order of these women. The Amazon warriors is a distortion of the patriarchal. And it's funny because nobody studied, nobody researched. They just took the word of these books and just talked about it too. But let me tell you, if you look at the word Deborah in the Bible, it's going to take you back to Isis, and it's going to take you back to Melissa. And Melissa means bee. Okay? There was a beehive culture. Trust me. Now, it's funny because when I saw, what is her name? Beyonce. When I saw, because she's a Virgo like myself, when I saw her wear that bee outfit, which was a ritual she was doing, I'm like, okay, they know, she know what she doing. They know what she doing. See, you gotta get you people gotta understand, and I say you people because it irritates me that you take words of people. Don't take words of people. Do the research. Let your brain discern what is right and what is wrong. Don't let people dictate to you what the truth is. I'm not going to read any more of this. I just wanted to give you an idea and show you how this matrix is done down here. They feel like they have covered everything to keep us entrapped, but you can get out. What's going to get you out is waking up, knowing who you are. And when you wake up to knowing who you are, it's the spirit within you is going to take you back to the beginning. Going to take you back to the real truth. It's going to take you to the place that you and what you down here for and all that stuff. And I promise you, if you are a soul child, the entities will not leave you alone. They do everything they can to try to distract you. They do everything that they can to try to cause harm to you. They do everything that they can to try to keep you poor. They mess with your finances. They mess with your health. And they mess with your love, because you are a loving person. So the people that you love is going to hurt you, because that's what they do. All that's it's happening through these archons. They doing that because they themselves cannot go past that fourth dimension. They can't even get into the fifth dimension. And people that are walking around talking about they're in the fifth dimension, the only way you're going to be in the fifth dimension mentally is that you are walking around here knowing that the Great Mother is the ruler past that fourth dimension. Because if you're walking around calling on Father, you ain't there. And I promise you, the fourth dimension is a place of illusion. It's going to give you mother and father. Because they can shape shift. They're in human bodies. They come in your dreams. They come like your ancestors. Your ancestors are gone. Them people probably don't recycle and back in another human body. You don't have no, unless in your ancestors just passed and it's still within the 40-day term. Your ancestors ain't talking to you. It's them archons, them parasites talking to you. You know, it's amazing because I had to go and deal with the filth first. I had to deal with the fire first. I had to deal with the most demonic first. Didn't understand it as I was going through it, but I got it now. And they don't play with me, and I don't play with them. Because I know why I'm here. I encourage you to find out, why are you here? I encourage you also to find out, are you a soul child or if you're not a soul child? Because if you're not a soul child, you were one of the ones that was gene sliced by the archons, or Anunnaki, you call them. And I'm hearing people say, oh, they're gonna come and these spaceship gonna come and get us. Yeah, they're gonna come and get you. And they're gonna take you somewhere and they gonna do some things with you. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I like to stay on subject, but I feel like I need to say this. I have seen the cigar spaceship. I sit in my window and watch that spaceship go up, across, up, across, up, across, up, across, until it completely disappeared. And guess what? The moon was out. And guess when I seen it? Probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So, people, you make a decision on what you want. You say that you're tired of life in this earth with people causing harm to the people. If you're a soul child, wake up. If you're not a soul child, and you still don't like what is being done to the earth, do what you know how to do. Do what you know how to do. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And I will put the references, some references underneath here. Now, these references, make sure you use your discernment. I just put it down here just because I know some of you want references. So, until the next time, take care, good people.